Hello everyone, welcome to Sen channel. Today I'm gonna be your teacher in music. So please watch up to the end of my video so that you're going to unlock the difficulties, the doubts about the lesson in music texture. So if we talk about texture, of course, literally, it's about the smoothness and the roughness of an object or anything that you have touched. Have you watched a concert or a choral singing in your school? So how many voices did you hear? Maybe you heard different voices or even one voice only. Therefore, the many voices you hear at the same time are called texture. So, even if you hear two voices or one voice, it's still considered as the texture in music. So let's find out how to understand the different voices or the different texture in a musical composition. So what is really a texture in music, or how to understand the texture in music, since we cannot touch the sound of music? So let's find out today. Texture in music refers to the structure of a musical composition, showing how many sounds, various layers, or voices are heard at the same time. So for example, when you heard your favorite song, so there are times you can detect another pitch, sometimes a higher pitch or a lower pitch. When we say lower pitch, maybe that could be the bass. And when you hear the higher or the highest pitch, that could be a soprano. So, when somebody sings together, the soprano and the bass, so that is the texture in music. Another meaning, according to the musical expert, or according to the legendary composers in music, texture is how the tempo, the melodic, and the harmonic materials are combined in a musical composition, determining the overall quality of the sound in a piece. The texture is often described in regard to the density or thickness and range or width between lowest and highest pitches in relative terms, as well as more specifically distinguished according to the number of voices or parts and the relationship between these voices. See, that's what I've told you just a while ago, that when you hear the different pitch or pitches in music, the highest, the higher, the middle pitch, the lower or the lowest pitch, since there are four voices that usually we can hear in a musical composition. So that is called the texture in music. Again, it's very clear that texture is how the tempo, the melodic, and the harmonic materials are combined in a musical composition. Okay? So for example, a thick texture contains many layers of instruments. So one of these layers could be a string section or another brass. The thickness also is changed by the amount and the richness of the instruments playing the piece. The thickness varies from light to thick. A piece's texture may be changed by the number and character of parts playing at once. The timbre of the instruments or voices playing its parts and the harmony, tempo, and rhythms used. See? So, you can use the harmony together with the tempo and the rhythm in order to produce the texture in music. So I'm gonna show you, or I'm gonna let you hear the song Are You Sleeping, Brother John? So of course everybody knows the song because this is one of the nursery songs or songs for the children. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, Brother John? Brother John, morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing, ding dong ding, ding dong ding. Okay, did you hear that? What do you think is the kind of texture while I am singing a cappella the Are You Sleeping, Brother John? Okay, let's find out. Because there are three kinds of texture in a musical composition. So what are the three kinds of texture? We have the monophonic, the homophonic, and the polyphonic. This time, let's find out how to identify or how to understand the monophonic or monophony. Monophonic or monophony has a single melodic line without accompaniment. So mono, that means one sound. Mono means one. So that is the meaning of monophony in a very simple way. Single melodic line without accompaniment. Therefore, while I'm singing the Are You Sleeping, Brother John, that is already an example of monophonic texture because I am singing one melody of the song Are You Singing, Brother John? And most especially, I didn't use any accompaniment. Accompaniment, that means any kind of musical instruments. Again, while singing the Are You Sleeping, Brother John in a cappella, that is an example of monophonic texture. Okay, so this is now the illustration of a monophonic texture. It says there is only one line melody. So this is now the representation of a monophonic texture. One line, or it has a single layer of a sound. So single layer. I hope it is already clear to everybody. But to elaborate The meaning of monophony or the monophonic texture, to understand it widely and clearly to us, according to the expert, monophony is the simplest of musical textures consisting of a melody or tune. So melody, that means the tune in every music or in a song, typically sung by a single singer or played by a single instrument player, such as a flute player or a guitar player or a ukulele player or even a piano player, without accompanying harmony or chords. So when we say without a harmony or chords, there is only one melody that we can hear from the instrument played. Many folk songs and traditional songs are monophonic. Again, many folk songs and traditional songs are monophonic. Like for example, the most or one of the most famous Filipino folk song is the Bahay Kubo. So while singing the Bahay Kubo, especially when you sing it in a cappella or without an accompaniment, that is already an example of monophonic texture. So that's it. So a melody is also considered to be monophonic if a group of singers, such as a choir, sings the same melody together at the unison. So exactly the same pitch again. So one melody or one pitch. Or with the same melody notes duplicated at the octave, such as when men and women sing together. So when men and women sing together, usually the women sings in using the treble clef or the G clef, while the men are going to sing using the bass clef or the F clef. If an entire melody is played by two or more instruments or sung by a choir with a fixed interval, such as a perfect fifth, it is also said to be monophony or monophonic. So the musical texture of a song or musical piece is determined by assessing whether varying components are used, such as an accompaniment part or polyphonic melody lines, two or more independent lines. Okay, so in an advanced composition of a musical piece, don't be confused when a group of band or a group of singer singing a particular song, but there is only one melody and they have an accompaniment like their band. But when you hear them singing the piece together with your band, but there is only one melody, that could be a monophonic texture. So, therefore, again, monophonic or monophony signifies only one voice and usually sung in unison. Okay? So, I would like to clarify to everybody that it's not because it is a monophonic or monophony because there's only one person sung a kind of piece or a song like what I did just a while ago, that I was singing the Are You Sleeping Brother John alone. But when you sing the Are You Sleeping Brother John together with your classmates, together uh, with your family, with your friends, and when the Are You Sleeping Brother John sung by a choir in the usual melody, one melody, that is still a monophonic. It is very clear that it is said, usually sung in unison. The word unison means one voice, one melody. Okay? So, another example is when you hum. So, humming, there is no words. And when you whistle, so instead of singing a song according to the lyrics, so you just whistle it or you just hum like a lullaby. That is an example of monophonic texture. So I hope that everything about monophonic texture is clear to everybody. Now, let's continue. So what is homophonic texture? It is said that a single melodic sound with accompaniment. And another meaning, focus on the melody supported by another instrument like the guitar or piano. So when you sing a song with an accompaniment, that could be considered as homophonic. So when you sing the Bahay Kubo together with a ukulele, that is already a homophonic. When you sing the Are You Sleeping, Brother John, accompanied by a guitar, so that is already a homophonic texture. Look at the illustration of a homophonic texture. There is only one single line. So one single line, but there is an accompaniment. So the green color here refers or signifies to the accompaniment of the melody. Now, I'm gonna elaborate to you the definition of homophonic or the homophony. So according to the musical or to the music experts, homophony is a texture in which a primary part is supported by one or more additional strands that flesh out the harmony. Again, homophony is a texture in which a primary part is supported by one or more additional strands that flesh out the harmony. So one melody predominates while the other parts play either single notes or an elaborate accompaniment. This differentiation of roles contrasts with equal voice polyphony, in which similar lines move with rhythmic and melodic independence to form an even texture, and monophony, in which all parts move in unison or octaves. Historically, homophony and its differentiated roles for parts emerged in tandem with tonality, which gave distinct harmonic functions to the soprano, bass, and inner voices. A homophonic texture may be homorhythmic, which means that all parts have the same rhythm. Choral texture is another variant of homophony. The most common type of homophony is melody-dominated homophony, in which one voice, often the highest, plays a distinct melody, and the accompanying voices work together to articulate an underlying harmony. Okay, so to clarify this homophonic texture to everybody, when we say the most common type of homophony is melody-dominated homophony, or in which one voice, often the highest, plays a distinct melody and the accompanying voices work together to articulate an underlying harmony. Okay, so when I'm going to sing a song, so in a soprano pitch, and then somebody will sing me together in a tenor pitch. So that is an example of harmonic texture. Like, for example, I'm gonna illustrate to you an intro of Joy to the World. For example, so I'm gonna sing the melody, and for example, somebody will also sing the tenor. Okay. Joy to the world, joy to the world. And then somebody will at the same time sing me together. Joy to the world, joy to the world. Okay, that is an example of homophonic texture. So another, silent night, holy night. Okay, that is the melody. And when somebody sings me together or sing me at the same time in this tune, silent night, holy night. That could be her tune. Again, mine is silent night, holy night, and for her, silent night, holy night. Okay, so when they are going to sing together, that is already a homophonic texture. Initially, in ancient Greece, homophony indicated music in which a single melody is performed by two or more voices in unison or octaves. That is monophony with multiple voices. Homophony as a term first appeared in English with Charles Burney in 1776, emphasizing the concord of harmonized melody. An example of a homophonic texture is a music performed by a folk singer or an acoustic performer. That is an example of a homophonic texture. Now, let's come to polyphonic texture, the third kind of music texture. It is said that polyphonic texture having many sounds and contains two or more independent musical lines. Two or more independent musical lines. That is the polyphonic texture. Melody. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 melodies combined to become the music, a polyphonic texture. See? Again, that is a polyphonic texture. There are 4 melodies combined. To extend the definition of polyphonic texture, it is said that polyphony is a type of musical texture consisting of two or more simultaneous lines of independent melody, as opposed to a musical texture with just one voice, monophony, or a texture with one dominant melodic voice accompanied by chords, and homophony. Within the context of the Western musical tradition, the term polyphony is usually used to refer to music of the late Middle Ages and Renaissance. Baroque forms such as fugue, which might be called polyphonic. So, by the way, what is fugue? I hope everybody understand the word fugue. So, the word fugue or the fugue is more likely to a canon music or a round music or round song or canon song. So again, when we say fugue, fugue is more likely to a canon song or a round song. So it is usually described instead as contrapuntal, also as opposed to the species terminology of counterpoint. So contrapuntal means counterpoint. Polyphony was generally either pitch against pitch or point against point or sustained pitch in one part with melismas of varying lengths in another. How about the word melismas? So melismas is a group of notes or tones sung on one syllable in plain song, or in some other meaning, it is a melodic embellishment. Melodic embellishment. Again, a group of notes or tones sung on one syllable in a plain song. That is melismas. In all cases, the conception was probably what Margaret Bent in 1999 calls dyadic counterpoint, with each part being written generally against one other part, with all parts modified if needed in the end. This point against point conception is opposed to successive composition, where voices were written in an order with each new voice fitting into the whole so far constructed, which was previously assumed. The term polyphony is also sometimes used for more broadly to describe any musical texture that is not monophonic. Such a perspective considers homophony as a subtype of polyphony. So again, polyphonic texture is a musical composition which makes use of two or more melodies. So example of polyphonic texture are the choral music, the orchestral music, the rounds, the canons, and the fugues. Those are the example of polyphonic texture. So again, what is a round song? It is an imitation of the first voice followed by other voices singing the same melody. Usually, in the elementary grades, the children really love to sing a round song or to perform the round song. And the most common songs are the Are You Sleeping, Brother John, and the other one is the Row, Row, Row Your Boat. The two songs are usually common for the children to perform the round song. Okay, so this is now what it looks like when the children are going to perform the Are You Sleeping, Brother John round in a round song. So, for example, the first group or the voice 1 and we have the voice 2. So the first group, of course, they're going to sing first the first line. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, Brother John? Brother John? Okay. And now, the second group of the children or the voice 2, this is now their illustration. When are they going to enter? So, for example, the voice 1 is the girls group or the group of the girls, while the voice 2 are the boys. So when the girls say Brother John or the phrase brother, that's the time the boys will start Are you sleeping? See? Again, so during the Brother John phrase, the boys will start Are you sleeping phrase. So therefore, they are not going to start at the same time or at the same phrase of the song. So, in the second line of the song, the first group, this is already the phrases. Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing, Brother John. Brother John. Okay, so while singing morning bells are ringing, the second group also will sing the phrase Brother John from the first line. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. So, therefore, the second group or the boys are still in the first line of the song, while the first group is already in the second line of the song. So how about here? This time, group 1 has already ended the song. So this is the fin or the last phrase of the song. This is the end of the song. While the group 2 or the boys, they're already or they're still here in the there's already in the second line of the song. Morning bells are ringing. Brother John, Brother John. Okay. So, I hope you understand now clearly the element or one of the elements in music, that is texture. So, please don't forget to subscribe, to like, and to completely view my other videos and the next topic that we are going to talk about, of course, in music lessons. Thank you and see you again to my next video.